What up, world? Welcome to episode 1. My name is Khai St Lawrence, if you want to be artistically correct. Kenneth Crowder, if you want to get me to pay my taxes. And I am just here to share who I am and my journey and my experience. I am a non-binary performer, artist, and stylist living out in Los Angeles. I'm originally from Chicago. And this is just gonna be my chillax space where I'm just gonna talk about whatever I want to talk about and just kind of share my journey kind of step by step from the beginning to where I am now. And, so if you're along for the ride, just kind of settle in. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. And so I landed in Los Angeles back in 2015, so it's been almost 10 years. And I came here with nothing but 2 best friends and a dream. And we kind of hit the ground running. We were staying in Airbnb for a week while we looked for apartments. And that's kind of where the whole adventure started. I remember my 2 friends both came and they kind of transferred jobs, so they were able to go straight to work. And I hadn't done that necessarily. I ended up kind of doing Postmates for a long time. But in that first week, when I was kind of in that nervous energy of like, what do I do now? Like, I've packed up everything that I own. I've, spent the money getting here. And now it's just about like finding a place and finding out where we fit in. It was a very nerve-wracking time and a nerve-wracking experience. But I remember in that first week, I literally met like my first friend slash like hookup buddy, but his name was Fabian. And he, was an amazing person and an artist and a dancer himself. And he actually inspired me to write the first song that I wrote when I got here, which is called Oceans and Photographs. And I think what that was for me was kind of just this moment of calm where I got to kind of experience myself and also myself in California in a very like neutral and like open space. And we literally went on a date to Santa Monica Pier and just kind of like ran around and like went on the rides. And like, it was nice to have somebody that was from here kind of like lead me through that. And yeah, he's just a great person. We hung out. I haven't seen him in quite some time, but we've hung out for years and he's still out there and I still love him. And that was just that first nudge of like, oh, I'm supposed to be here. This is what I'm supposed to use my voice for, is to share my experience and also just communicate, what I can communicate with my voice and with my songwriting and also with my visuals and my images, and also just with who I am, with how I present myself. Me and my best friend, Javon, who is in the Mannequins with me. Javon came out as trans a couple years after we had moved to LA, and I came out as non-binary a couple years after that. And it's been a great time and experience and relationship, just kind of defining ourselves and figuring out who we are in this space, in this neutral space where our families aren't necessarily here to, judge or try to understand us necessarily. We can kind of just let ourselves be and take it kind of day by day and figure out where we want to land. I think for me, I landed in a beautiful space where like gender for me isn't super concrete and I get to kind of like bounce back and forth very much like a pendulum. And so some days you're going to get a boy, some days you're going to get a girl. Today you got a girl. The next episode you might get a boy. I don't know. I don't tell you. But for me, it's very much the way that I feel, and it's not super tied to like my sexuality or even to like my biology. It's more so about what it feels to be me and the way that I want to dress and present myself in the world that makes me feel the most comfortable and makes me feel the most confident. I think confidence is a huge thing in life. I feel like that kind of dictates how you move throughout the world and what kind of like roles you take and what kind of goals you set for yourself. And I always wanted to, I know I had big things to do. I know I had big things and big dreams. I didn't want to feel like I was being put in a box from other people and also not for myself. So I was kind of really thankful that Javon has always kind of been in my corner as an inspiration and kind of led the way when it comes to like, we can peel back all these little layers and pieces to ourselves that we've put on or performed throughout our lives and kind of really get to know who I am. And I'm really excited with who I am. I feel like I've developed into a quite very lovely person. And yeah, it's been a fantastic experience thus far. So landed in LA, started interning kind of right away. Like I said, I didn't have a concrete job to go to. So I looked online and I like found a couple of internships, one writing for an urban fashion magazine and the other one working in a LA PR showroom. And I kind of was juggling both of those for a while, again, postmating to kind of make sure I had my bills paid. And I think those first couple of months, like I ended up interning for like 9 months before I got a more regular job that paid, because that was not paid. But it was very much the groundwork of like how the industry worked. I guess when I moved here, let me just go say, LA is very much like who you know. People say that, and it's very true. It's very based off of like who you know. And like, and if you're ambitious, you can push yourself, absolutely. But the connections that you make here definitely can make or break the opportunities that come your way. And so for me, interning was very much like giving myself that background of like how the entertainment industry worked. We very much had like stylists that would come in and like check clothes out for celebrities, whether it was like Nicki Minaj or like anybody. Nicki Minaj is just one that's on top of my mind right now. But having kind of their stylists come in and show them and tell us what they're going through, whether it was like the VMAs or to an award show or something like that, it kind of like laid this groundwork for like how things get done here. Because again, I didn't come here with any connections. So it very much was kind of up to me to sort of build the landscape of how I would go and navigate the entertainment space. I definitely thought I was going to end up working at a fashion magazine. I interned at one, and that ended up not necessarily turning into like an opportunity for me. But that's where I saw myself. I had done more like fashion stuff back in Chicago. And so I'd seen myself in that space, and I was able to work on quite a few editorials for a couple magazines. But the editorials and publications and whatnot in Los Angeles are definitely on a little bit of a smaller scale as opposed to like New York, which, you know, I almost went to, but, you know, LA ended up being what our final decision was. So yeah, I didn't necessarily know where I was going to find myself. And I think thanks to just being guided through my experience, I ended up kind of connecting with this amazing group of stylists that kind of like adopted me and brought me into film and television, which is a space I did not see myself in at all. I did not come out here to work in TV. But, you know, when the right people find you and tell you that they believe in you and are pushing you and encouraging you to like be the best version of yourself, like you do that. You trust those people and you do that. And so, you know, thanks to Bori and Robert and Ashley and everybody that kind of came with that squad that kind of like picked me up and like made me into the fully functioning stylist that I am now and today, because that has taken me to some of literally the most incredible places in the world. I've literally worked like the biggest award shows in the game, the Oscars, the Emmys, the Grammys, it's incredible to be in those rooms. And I'm so thankful for the people that believed in me and helped me get there. And it was in rooms like that where I'm literally sitting there next to like some of the biggest names in Hollywood, where I'm going like, how did I get here? That's kind of where my soul kind of kicked in, and it was like, you're supposed to be here. You're supposed to be here in a bigger capacity than you are even right now. And so I'm super excited to like share that and kind of literally take the next step in piecing together how that's gonna happen. My joke that I used to tell my girl Erin Lim all the time is that like I'm just waiting for one of them to call out sick. Erin Lim, Justin Sylvester, just one of you calls out sick, I'm in there. They need a quick fill-in, I'm in that seat. And I used to tell them that all the time, and I kind of still mean it. So, you know, time still may come. But so thanks to that incredible group of stylists, I was able to get a job at the E! Television Network, and that's kind of what catapulted me into being able to have access to spaces like that. And now that I'm in a super comfortable space, still going in and out of E! and Access Hollywood, I'm at a place where I have connections kind of all over the place. I've done television shows for GSN. I've done television shows for Netflix and Hulu, and literally like worked on my favorite TV show, one of my favorite TV shows of all time, which was Love, Victor. That was crazy because I watched that show as a fan for season 1 and season 2 and literally got booked to work on season 3. And so that was like just a groundbreaking and incredible opportunity for me. And I will never forget that. Those kids are amazing kids, girl. Like they're in their 20s. But it was crazy to be in that space, watching them film that show, helping them develop those characters, and just being there to witness such an impactful show be about queer people be made. And so after that, I'd been telling myself for years I wanted to shift back over to music, because music is one of my first loves, and I wanted to give myself the permission and the time to develop myself as an artist. You know, I came out here knowing I wanted to sing and perform and dance and write. And we came out here as the Mannequins with me and Javon. And we had to figure out what that meant and what that vibe was and what that sound was. And thankfully around like 2018, 2019, that's when I started to kind of branch out and find producers and started to just write more and actually get into the studio to develop what our sound would become. And we're actually dropping our album basically now. We're gonna be dropping one song from our album a month for the next year. So I'm really excited to welcome people into the universe that we're kind of creating, artistically, visually. It's a passion project for me and for us. And I'm just really excited for people to hear what we've been working on. I've written all the songs with the rest of my team, with Javon, with Brittany and Will and Omari, who are all like my incredibly talented vocalist friends. And I've had a songwriting coach and amazing engineers that have helped me just, figure out what these stories are and what they're going to sound like. And then connecting that to these amazing photographers and videographers that are helping me bring literally my vision to life. It's literally like painting a picture of who I am inside, but also what I want to see for the world, specifically as like a queer person, as a Black queer person. It's really important to be able to share our stories and our voices. And I'm really excited that I get to do that, being at a space where I have access to things that let me just make really impactful art. And I hope that's what you guys think it is. It's just me putting pens on papers and then papers on the walls and just, bringing visions to life, which is just a crazy thing to be able to do to begin with. So like I said, we write all of our music. We stack all of our vocals. Harmonies are a really big thing for me. I was raised on Destiny's Child and 3LW and the Pussycat Dolls and Danity Kane and all that. And so I knew I wanted to be in a group where the voices and the vocals were like super important and super ethereal and just kind of carried the songs and the stories. And I was truly, truly blessed to just have some really, really, really talented friends. It started literally just from being friends and like singing together at pre-games and being like, oh, like the texture of your voice is actually crazy. Like you're an amazing singer. Like Will and Omari and Brittany are literally all amazing singers and vocalists and are honestly better at it than I am. I just have such specific stories that I want to tell. And I'm so thankful to have them to help me kind of bring those stories to life. They say, if you want to be great, surround yourself with great people. And I genuinely believe that's what I've been able to do with them. And so I'm super excited for you guys to see what we got coming out next. I'll pop up some of the visuals that we've been working on here and maybe give you a little snippet of a song at the end of this. But it's very much, I'm at a new spot. It's like very much like turning a new page. It's a new chapter for sure. And I'm just really excited to watch it all kind of come together.